Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say.
Suave on the track. Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder, I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder, I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair by numb his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with Dylan, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder, I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder, I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
The Hollywood.
Mark is on his way, boy.
Got a 4-5 and a drum, but a 5 in the street.
I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did for the streets, I'm not gon' talk about that. I bought my youngins a new 40, told them play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gon' play with that? Got a 4-5 and a new drum, but a new 5 in the streets. Lay it down on the back block, so that I've died in the streets. 4-5 and a new drum, but a new 5 in the streets. Lay it down on the back block, so that I've died in the streets. Body's on my conscience, and I won't let it. Paranoia taking over, I won't let it. Out your right mind, you won't sober. The streets took a toll on you, but you a soldier. This shit I seen too many times before. Drugs taking over, they won't let them go. They make the wrong move, fuck it, we gon' let it blow. He just let me know that niggas' minds ain't right. Only killing for protection. My young niggas got obsessions. For that clout, they gon' press him. Consumed by the hate, another snake that's gon' bless him. He's supposed to be your brother, but he's screaming out that sly shit. Got a blood oath with my family, that's my time. Y'all put your faith in me, and now we got it, we gon' all shine. And that's my word to the streets. 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 That's my word, yeah. I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did to the streets, I'm not gonna talk about that. I bought my youngins a the 40, told them play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gon' play with that? Got a 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new 5 in the streets. Lay it down on the back blocks till I opt out in the streets. 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new 5 in the streets. Lay it down on the back blocks till I opt out in the streets.
Father God, first I ask for forgiveness. I ask that you look past our times that we have fell short. Father God, for that one who do not know your love, Father God, I know that is my purpose, to be a lighthouse of your grace. Wherever you lead my steps, whatever obstacle I have to become, I pray that you give us strength in the face of the enemy. Father God, thank you for listening to my soul. Amen.
I sold my heart right to the streets and I can't play with that. This shit that I did for the streets, I'm not gonna talk about that. I bought my youngins a new 40, told them play with that. So when them niggas spin the black, how you gon' play with that? Got a 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new 5 in the streets. Lay down on the back blocks till I opt out in the streets. 4-5 with a new drum, bought a new 5 in the streets. Lay down on the back blocks till I opt out in the streets.
Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. Hit that like button, thumb up the video, share the live stream. It's very important for you guys to share the live stream, man. Let's get right into this next little jammy jam we got lined up for y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the live stream, and support the channel, man. Let's go.
The alleyway. You know, I didn't really step back. Look at my situation for what it was. You know, I didn't look at my life like it was a movie. I didn't look at all the moving parts. So I can really understand what it was. When they say love, make you blind. Yeah. I'm introverted. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my back, I got a murder. Head goes out of black, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burdens, the streets wanna murder. Streets wanna murder. I told you that this ain't bars, it come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. Ain't the city red? All the shit I see replaying in my head. Heard the streets smoking, so we caught them boys instead. Black wanna murder, and he caught with another day. And I bet they would, yeah. But it was right, really, niggas was crooked, yeah. Playing the bitty with niggas, they cost them a bullet, yeah. They wanna blow it to him, but I had to pull it, yeah. We put in the streets, we put in the trap, I had on the music. I write my bones on this microphone, it's therapeutic. I know the streets listen when I talk, I can't abuse it, I can't abuse it. I can't abuse it. I can't abuse it. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my back, I got a murder. Head goes on the block, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burden. I'm introverted. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on top of my back, I got a murder. Head goes on the block, the streets wanna murder. This shit come with burdens. The streets wanna murder. Streets wanna murder. I told you that this ain't a boss, it come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. This shit come with burdens. Yeah, baby, you know I get it. Stuck in the grind, bitch, I'm on a mission. Over they talking, little baby, I'm different. And on my nuts, I handle my business. And on my business, shit in the business. I'm really rapping the shit that I'm living. I got a problem inside of my mind. I hear the streets talking, they tell me to get it. Yeah, I gotta get it. Yeah, bitch, tell me I'm tripping. Tell me all of my money goes out of my music. Get my phone, what I was missing. Yeah, I was boasting. I never asked for niggas for a bag. I never called them niggas in the jam. I know the ops stepping in the mood. I know my head going for a bag. I don't talk to niggas cause I'm constantly serving. I got a trap on my back, I got a murder. Head goes down the streets.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, hit my stomach, paranoia, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, hit my stomach, paranoia, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair by numb is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with Dylan, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the ops wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the ops wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the
Peace, man. Peace and blessings, man. What's going on with everybody out there this Grand Rising? See, the algorithms is tripping this morning, this Grand Rising. They ain't want to push the channel out. So I need y'all to work extra hard to hit the like button and share the live stream. Peace and blessings to everybody in the chat. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the live stream, man. This is going to be a nice one. I don't know if you ever heard of Billy Carson. He goes in, kind of like the alien dude, but he goes in. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta appreciate the type of information that does come out of these particular situations, man. So I do appreciate everybody for tapping in. I do need y'all to work extra hard and share the live stream. Tap in, y'all, and share the live stream, because we gotta get some people in here, y'all. All right, so yeah, man. After y'all share the live stream, please come in and let me know by showing the fire emojis in the chat. Let me know in the chat that y'all hit the like button. So yeah, man, that's all I need y'all to do is hit that like button, thumb up the video, and support the motherfucking channel, man. Y'all know the vibe. Y'all know the vibes. Hey, man, I do want to say shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat, man. I want to say peace and blessings for everybody for coming in, tap in. I appreciate all the support, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button as y'all come in. Shout out to everybody that's watching this that's not able to chat. Shout out to everybody that's in here that's not able to chat. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Let me take my time out to shout out some of the brothers and sisters that took their time out to come rock with me this Grand Rising. Let me shout out to Son of California, the realest N-word alive, E-Knots, A.V.Dots. A.V.Dots, what's up, bro? Can I get some of that black digital dollar? What I got to do to get some of that black digital dollar merch, man? I need some of that black digital dollar merch, man. I need the merch. Shout out to A.V.Dots. Tony Furlow in the building. Big Block. Elizabeth Young. Ghetto Child Clinic, excuse me. Who else we got here? My big brother Tay Shine. We got Aboriginal TV, Darius Matthews, Tony Farlow, Pop Reed, Drake Cobb Music, Snake God. Who else we got up in here? I ain't forgetting nobody else. We got old dude in the building. Elizabeth Young. All right. My brother shout out to in the building. Marco Power. Darius Matthews, shout out to everybody in the chat. Hopefully I didn't miss out on anybody. Shout out to Carbon Crowns, DTG 034, ATF, All the Times Flat, aka Chopper Copperfoot. What's up, Chopper Copperfoot? I'm at Copper Chopperfoot. Hold on. Let's see what this say. Let me make sure I read my nigga name right. My nigga name Chopper Copperfoot. Oh, Chief Copperfoot, my bad. Shout out to my nigga 10 AC King. I got you. Message me ASAP, gang. I got you. Shout out to Bullish Prince of Wales and Carbon Crowns in the building. Hopefully I ain't forgetting nobody. Susan Thompson in the building. Shout out to Susan in this motherfucker. We got Susan in here, man. Can we get some more likes in here? Can we get some people to share this on the live stream? You understand me? I don't want to wait in too longer, man. I do got some music for one of the brothers that be watching the YouTube channel. He can send me some music, so I want y'all to let me know how y'all think about that. I do want to kind of promote some of what y'all got going on and help promote what y'all got going on. So let me get to some of this music, see if y'all like this shit. Y'all let me know if it's ass or trash. If it's garbage, let me know in the chat by dropping them fire emojis. I mean, if it's garbage, drop them doodle emojis in the chat. If this shit rocking, y'all fucking with it, drop the fire emojis. You know what I'm saying? The brothers in the chat. We ain't gotta be biased. If it's trash, let them know. If it's fire, let them know. Let's get it.
That's what I thought you said. Now let me offer this as a rebuttal.
Hold on. That shit sound like SpongeBob. That shit fucked me up.
That's what I thought you said.
I didn't know if this was the right song.
Two of my shorty be cool and roll up a dash we groove and Memphis and chill watch a move and fuck her rich till she go stupid. She dumb. Two of my shorty I'm cool and roll up a dash we groove and Memphis and chill watch a move and fuck her rich till she go stupid. Two of my shorty I'm cool and roll up a dash we groove and Memphis and chill watch a move. Okay. Eat it, then I beat it. Derek Jeter hit it out the park. Getting funds from my son. Grab a gun, I let it spark. Walking through the rain. Wash away my pain. All my stolen shit. Hit the store, buy a game, okay. Life be like a dream. Grab a pistol up and shoot it. I'ma do it for my son.
Let me know in the chat, man. Drop them emojis.
Shoot my shot and hit like you. Dunk up in her like a whipping. Smoking, then I eat. Then that shorty be my meat. Damn, she know I'm a freak. When I start to get it. Yeah, all I really want is a sprinter truck. Windows tinted up. Hotbox got me going up. Nigga, why you switch it up? Never really give a fuck. The beat, I beat it up. I be pussy like a drum. Shoot that shit just like some gum. All you can have is some fun. I'm not giving out no funds. Pop this for like water gun. Leave my taste all on her tongue. Asshole, cause I tell the truth. Y'all stay mad, I stay on you. Rick and Morty beat a boost. Put some liquor in my juice. Grab a Dutchie, maybe two. Hit that bitch and then I just cough. In my metal, feeling lost. Blowing gas like an exhaust. Coming up that is from zero on a new job. I think I need one. In the shadows, yeah, that beat him like John Cena. You can't see him. And my son just started teething. So you know I got a reason. Sober me be super villain. Sober you be more like Krillin. Every beat I gotta kill it. Stevie Wonder probably see it. Every time I really try. Deep inside I wanna cry. Oh God, gotta strive till I motherfucking die. I'm a man, I'm that guy. All y'all know and just like fly. Hit my chicken, then I slide. On the guy, super fry. Remember back up in the day. Used to drink before I drive. Now I'm getting paid just for driving while I'm high. To the truth and never lie. To Lord in the daytime. Red eyes spitting fire. My voice made your bitch get high. My niggas be the booster.
Drop some fire emojis. Is your ass or trash? Drop the emojis.
Remember the time, with us from criminal, all on her guts. She's singing of him and those blacks with Sam. Wanna know what I'm finna do, silent, true, and she want me to stop. Flipping and spinning, they hit it like Bobby. She whisper my name and they thinking it's gospel. Got her to singing, they thinking it's gospel. Digging in the thigh, yeah, digging in me and she under my stuff. Sucking my blood, that goes from the shell. Haters gon' hurt me, I'm worried about mine. If you ain't coolin', you wasting my time. Might be some new clothes, I'll patch my grind. CBD oil and relax my mind. THC flies and help me recline. How with my queen, I'm feeling divine. Healing the beat, I know every time. Drink up some liquor, I chase you with wine. My money be crippin' with puzzles and slime. Listen, I'm closer on my favorite line. Call me a pussy. I take that as a compliment, bitch. You are what you be, and that is just common sense, nigga. Yeah, T-Rock. Yeah. T-Rock.
Man, y'all let me know in the chat how y'all feel about that, man. Drop them fire emojis. Drop them doodle emojis. If you think it's fire, drop the fire. If you think it's trash, drop the doodle emoji. Drop them doodle emojis. Goddamn. I think it was straight. It was straight. Somebody, I see two doodle emojis. Y'all foo as hell. Y'all petty as shit. It was dead hubby. Y'all funny as hell, boy. Yeah, look. Y'all wild as hell, boy. What y'all think about it? Y'all think it's ass or trash? I mean, y'all think it's gas or trash, man? Y'all let me know. I see two doodle emojis. I see a few fire emojis. It's I guess it's mixed opinions on that particular song. Shout out to my brother though, T Rock, man. T Rock 302. Go follow him on social media. Make sure y'all go follow my bro. Yeah, man. Y'all ready to get into this build, man? If y'all ready, man, drop them fire emojis. Drop them fire emojis. Let's get it, man. I need everybody to hit that like button, support the channel, man. I need everybody to support the channel. It's very, very, very important for you guys to support the channel, you guys. All right. So as long as y'all support that thing, we locked in. I do want to kind of get into the build that we got lined up for you guys so we can get straight into it. So if y'all ready for the build, drop them fire emojis, support the channel. I'm just waiting on somebody to support the channel, man. Link sticking at the bottom of the screen. PayPal information at the Cash App information at the bottom right of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Make sure y'all support the channel. If y'all ready to get into it, man, let's get into it. I ain't gonna wait and hold y'all up no farther, man. We're gonna get straight into the build. Ancient civilization, multi-dimensions, and the true understanding of time. Let's go.
It speeds up, you understand me, the process from being born to when you leave this place.
Yeah.
You know, and then we already have expectations on what life is going to be because there's other people that tell us what it is, when we're going to die, when we get old, when we're going to feel a certain way. So it sets up a curation for us to die a certain way and at a certain speed. I want to hear what your interpretation of what time is first.
Yeah, well, you know, this is a very deep question. I've talked about this so many times in different lectures and workshops, you know, because for people in the third dimension, we're in the third dimension. What we tend to not understand is that time really doesn't exist. Clocks exist. Time doesn't exist.
Right.
And like you said, we've been given this functional arrow of time, which puts us in one specific direction, so that we can organize our thoughts and our days and our years and weeks and what we're going to do and where we're going to meet up with somebody and everything else. So we have this ability to coordinate and collaborate with each other, like how we're here today at this specific time. However, if you understand that time is also an illusion, it's something that you can use as a tool, but if you also understand that it's an illusion, then you can actually master time and you can maximize what you're doing on this planet. Because if you go any high and all the high,
if y'all can hear everything in the chat, drop them fire emojis, man. We just getting started, man. This is ancient civilization, multi-dimension, and have true meaning of how time works. So hit that like button, drop them fire emojis, support the channel, man. We going on like 16, 17, 18 days of heat right now. Consistency, fire builds every day, man. So make sure y'all hit that like button, support the channel, man. Let's continue. Shout out to all the American Aborigines, FBA brothers and sisters in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat listening. Peace and blessings to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it.
Maximize what you're doing on this planet. Because if you go any high in all the higher dimensions, you know, we're in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and all the way up.
For the layman that don't understand what being in the
that time is also an illusion. It's something that you can use as a tool. But if you also understand that it's an illusion, then you can actually master time and you can maximize what you're doing on this planet. Because if you go any high in all the higher dimensions, you know, we're in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and all the way up.
For the layman that don't understand what being in the third dimension means, can you give us a breakdown?
Okay, sure. So if you draw a line on a piece of paper, that's the first dimension. If you then connect those lines and create a house on a piece of paper, that's a two-dimensional structure, or you can move that into a computer. Anything you see in a computer that looks 3D is actually 2D.
Did y'all understand it? Let me run that back. Y'all say I'll make sure y'all understand what's going on. Shout out to my brother 10AC King. Shout out to the 10AC King. He said, thanks for the knowledge, supporting the channel. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to the AC King, man. Shout out to the AC King supporting the challenge, man. Supporting the channel, man. Appreciate the Cash App donation, man. Don't let the brother 10AC King be the only one support the channel. Shout out to that brother in the chat for supporting the channel, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Hit that like button, thumb up the video, man. Let's continue this fire ass build. We ain't even got started yet.
Don't understand what being in the third dimension means. Can you give us a breakdown?
Okay, sure. So if you draw a line on a piece of paper, that's the first dimension. If you then connect those lines and create a house on a piece of paper, that's a two-dimensional structure, or you can move it into a computer. Anything you see in a computer that looks 3D is actually 2D. Right? So, and because we're in the third, we can see down into 2D. We can see all the way down, obviously, into 1D, and we can manipulate those dimensions from our higher selves. Now, if there are beings in fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions, it's people above us. Now, because of that, they see us and they recognize the past, present, and future operating all at the same time. Everything's happening at once.
Right.
There is no separation between the past, present, and the future. The arrow doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's just like when they tell you that when you look at a star, that you remember in science when they say when you're looking at a star, that star could potentially not even be there, that we're looking at the after effects of it exploding, and we haven't even made it to us yet. Time is an illusion. We are the true measurement of time, and I'm gonna get into that here in a second. I'm gonna let the brother keep building, but we are the true measurement of time.
Because they're higher than us, they can look down into the third, and they can see into what we're doing. So
who are before who? Hey, we gotta unpack a little bit. We gotta unpack.
Okay.
It's high level, but I want to make sure that the people can follow along with it. So, talking about third dimension, right? It's ants are not third dimensional thing, right? Because they can't see upward, right? They're not horizontal. You understand me? They exist the plane where they're looking forward, right? So when you're moving about the rest of the world that is higher up to them, they have no access to that, no perspective on that whatsoever. You understand me? For them, everything is straight and in front of them. For human beings, we have the ability to look upward, to look inward, to look outward, to look around, right? So therefore, we're connected into different angles, different perspectives, and different dimensions. You understand me? And then what I wanted to get with next,
you understand me? I feel like he taking my slang, man. Who says that like that? You understand me? Like, that's what I say. You understand me?
So let's say we got the third dimension, right? Now, talking about the fourth dimension, right? What is the fourth dimension?
The fourth dimension is something called a tesseract. And if you go into the ancient text, it's Metatron's cube. Meta, M-E-T-A. Meta. Metaverse, right? They got that from Metatron.
Hey man, we're gonna play the shot game. We ain't really gonna take real shots of liquor, but we gonna act like we taking shots of liquor. But every time he say "understand me," we taking a shot, a metaphorical shot. All right. So every time he say "understand me,"
Q. It's a fourth dimensional substructure. Now this fourth dimension is really something called a quasi crystal, and this quasi crystal in the fourth dimension, it casts a shadow, and the shadow that it casts, it creates the realm that we're living in here. We're living in a shadow of a higher dimension. That shadow creates a third dimension. It actually creates a fractal of it, creates this fractal holographic matrix that we're actually maneuvering in the third dimension right now.
So would the fourth dimension be considered a dimension of time?
You can address a fourth dimension of time like Albert Einstein was saying if you're just looking at a third plus a fourth being the arrow. But when you actually move up into another dimension, we now know in quantum physics that there is actually a fourth dimension. So all dimensions are in 90-degree angles of each other. And according to quantum theory right now, we're really anticipating that there's at least 11 dimensions, or otherwise the universe will collapse. So there really is truly a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all the way up, not just the arrow of time. That's just something extra. They try to make it make sense back then by saying the fourth dimension is time. But time is actually not a dimension at all.
So now that's a very interesting, because it's a lot that I'm sure that everybody's like, all right, I thought I was smart. And then I tried to keep up, and then I got left behind. You understand me?
You understand me?
What I want to bring people up to speed. You understand me? And the ideas in correlation to the analogy of how we're moving as a collective human species, specifically with technology, right? Because I think it can be connected to, cellular technology, right? Going from 3G to 4G. And, going from 3G to 4G to 5G, which allows us to be able to do different things that we normally weren't able to do that weren't possible.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you got 3G phones, it's helping you make better, faster calls. You understand me? connected.
Understand
then you get
me?
to 4G, and you're talking about now applications and streaming, right? And Wi-Fi, right? Being able to connect within systems and the Internet of Things, and then 5G allowing completely new systems of possibility. And this was where I think a lot of people missed the point in 2020 when everybody was going through the craze of whether 5G was killing them or not. It was more so, what was 5G going to do, right? So the NFTs and the Web3, right? And you're talking about, you know, AR, VR, spatial reality, all these different things are not possible unless you have 5G being in connection. So it was representing a new world being produced outward. And it wasn't just an accident that NFTs came after the pandemic and this technology came after.
It is funny, after the 5G, enough server to run these multi-universe, these multi-dimensions, you got the NFT, you got the metaverse, you got meta data, metaverse, you got all this shit intertwining and connecting in some way.
There was something happening at that same point in time that for me, it was entering into a new phase of the world, a new dimension, a new speed, right? And that speed, you know, can be known as time, if you will. And a lot of people, without that ability to process at a high level, right? Like you got bandwidth, you got landline speed, you got Wi-Fi speed, you got 5G speed, you get left behind. So everything seems that it's moving fast, but that's only because you're not moving as fast. Everything stands still when you're moving at the same speed. You understand me? And so what I've always tried to do is keep people up to speed where we at in the dimension that we're currently in, or a little bit above, so you can be ahead of your time as a visionary. Because the fastest speed is the mind. You understand me? Being able to travel in your thoughts. Right? That can travel you, that can take you into time, that can take you ahead of time, if you will. But the ideas of time itself, I love the concept that it being an illusion, because, you know, even the era where time is connected to language, right? That I wrote in my book about how when we speak in the English language, you know, it's a very future tense reference, right? So we're always referencing the future as we speak. I will be there. I'm going to do this. And we have so many different phrases within the language. We're always pushing ourselves, not connecting to the present, but at a later point in day and time. You understand me? And I think that learning to be present connects us to the power that we have in control over. And then once you have that power, then you know how to create seeds that can control the rest of the time.
Understand me?
But you said something about beings, right? Now, we always look at ourselves as a people, but then when we talk about people, you're talking about human beings, right? The being part is not something that the average person understands, right? And then when you're saying that there are other beings, who are these other beings?
I believe personally, just based off my research, and I've gone through now over 1,000 scriptures, texts, papyruses, cuneiform tablets from all over the world. They all have a very similar story. And all these ancient civilizations talk about beings, not just beings who came here from other planets, people that look like us and we look like them. In other words, not identical, but very similar. In other words, a bilateral, bipedal hominid of some type that can maneuver around, that has appendages that can manipulate the environment, because without that, you can't move out into space and other places. And they also talk about multidimensional. You get into like the Nag Hammadi, stuff like that, talking about multidimensional beings. And so in physics, in quantum physics in particular, they started theorizing on these dimensions and were able to even analyze and discover some that they actually do exist. And on top of that, they realized that the dimensions are packed so tight on top of one another that if you can phase shift your atomic structure, your subatomic frequency, you can walk right into another dimension. And so they started postulating, what if beings from higher dimensions are some of these apparitions and these paranormal phenomena that we're seeing? Are they able to maybe take a glimpse or a peek? Are they phasing through into our universe? And so from higher dimensions. And so they started really theorizing it. It seems to be, and based on my research, that there's people living everywhere. Not just, and I'm not talking about little green men with antenna. I think that there's people living all throughout this universe in the third dimension.
Listen, I've been saying, understand me. I might have to copyright that shit. Shout out to Enox for the Cash App donation. He said, AP, I think you need to copyright your shit. Shout out to my brother Enox for the Cash App donation. supporting the $2 challenge, man. Make sure y'all support the $2 challenge. It's still in effect. Shout out to Enox, man. Let's continue this build. It's the brother 19 Keys having a conversation with Billy Carson about ancient civilization, multi-dimension, and how time works. Let's go.
And I think there's people living all throughout even higher multiple dimensions, maybe at a certain level, a certain height in those dimensions. Maybe they don't have a real corporeal body.
Right. Non-physical.
Non-physical, you know what I'm saying? But I believe that the consciousness is there.
And that part is interesting, the non-physical aspect, because I understand that and I can believe in that idea and that concept. It's like what people think, I think of angels as angles.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because, you know, angels are supposed to.
Niggas say you look at angels as angles. Let's hear this breakdown. Y'all ready? Angels and angles.
That part is interesting, the non-physical aspect, because I understand that and I can believe in that idea and that concept. It's like what people think, I think of angels as angles.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because, you know, angels are supposed to exist in between dimensions.
Yeah.
You understand me? And angles, you understand me, are dimensions.
That's
right? And so it's like perspective is your angle in which you see things and view things. And oftentimes angels come and gives us new perspective, new thoughts. You understand me?
Yeah.
Arriving from a different, completely dimension of thought that we couldn't arrive at ourselves.
Correct.
You know, but at the same time, when you're talking about non-corporeal bodies or non-physical bodies, you understand me? I like that concept because when you're talking about time, talking about light, you're talking about all of these different ways in which light or energy can exist within and consciousness, right? The awareness of, you know, output, you understand, mathematical output, right? Do you believe that the universe is mathematical?
Oh, absolutely. The language of God is mathematics, because mathematics can literally explain everything that we experience and everything also that exists. Even the fact that we're existing in a light matrix can be proven through mathematics. So we're living in a matrix that's basically written on mathematics called Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes go all the way back to the Dogons. Dogon tribes out of Mali, Africa.
Yeah.
They actually originated these codes and they were given these.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, y'all. Thumb up the video. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. If y'all enjoying the build, let Big Aboriginal Power know. Also, thumb up that video. Let's try to get 100 likes real quick. Let's try to get 200 people in this live stream before the hour marker. All right? Let's try to get 200 people in here before the hour marker. We just hit over 37 minutes, 38 minutes. So let's continue this fire live stream. Drop them fire emojis in the chat if y'all can hear me loud and clear, and also hear this audio. Let's go.
Goes by the Nomo, and they learned them. Codes go all the way back to the Dogons. Dogon tribes out of Mali, Africa.
Yeah.
They actually originated these codes, and they were given these codes by the Nomo, and they learned them. They drew them out as art forms. But now, and they put them on clothing and blankets and everything else.
So the Dogon tribe, very interesting tribe, you know, that was able to discover, you know, systems before telescopes and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So how did they arrive to be able to, because I know a lot of people, I posted about this not too long ago, people want to understand how the hell did the Dogon tribe arrive to it? Right? I just subscribe to, you know, us being, you know, gods, melanated beings on this planet Earth. We connected in a way that we just don't understand anymore. You understand me? And being multidimensional, I think about
y'all heard it.
Physics in that aspect where you're talking about things being entangled. You're not Will and Jada entanglement. You understand me? But quantum entanglement.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, it once you understand that, being multidimensional to me is easily understood from the fact that you can break us down to atoms, right? And then cells, and then we get into our skin and we see our physical.
Yeah.
But from an atomic level, those are different laws.
Yeah.
Right? And we're made up of atoms. So that an aspect of our existence is obeying different laws of the universe.
Yeah.
And then our cells are obeying different laws, gravity and magnetism, right, and flow. But then we...
Y'all understand what he's saying? Let's run that back a little bit. I want y'all to be able to get into this bag that he's getting into. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We almost got 100 people in here. Share the live stream. When I say share, that means go down and hit the share button and post it on your social media. Copy the link, share it, screenshot it. However you got to do it, man. Share the information, man. Let's continue. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Peace and blessings to y'all, man. It's a beautiful Saturday, man. Let's get it.
I think about physics in that aspect where you're talking about things being entangled. You're not Will and Jada entanglement. You understand me? But quantum entanglement.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, once you understand that, being multidimensional to me is easily understood from the fact that you can break us down to atoms, right? And then cells, and then we get into our skin and we see our physical.
Yeah.
But from an atomic level, those are different laws.
Yeah.
Right? And we're made up of atoms. So that an aspect of our existence is obeying different laws of the universe.
Yeah.
And then our cells are obeying different laws, gravity and magnetism, right, and flow. But then we as human beings are obeying different laws, right, of gravity and magnetism in the universe. And then we forget about the universal laws of our multidimensional self because we only know man's law.
Yeah.
You understand me? So I think being multidimensional is usually understood as above, so below. You understand me? But
you understand me?
The idea of the Dogon people being able to chart systems, how were they able to figure that out? You understand me? Before the Europeans had an idea of what was out there.
Right. Well, to be honest with you,
shout out to the brother Craig for the supporting the $2 challenge as well. Shout out to the brother Craig Lloyd in the chat. Appreciate that, brother Craig. We appreciate all the support. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Let's continue, man.
If you go all the way back to the ancient Dogon history, before they got to Mali, they were in the land of Kem. They were the original inhabitants of the land of Kem before it was called Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Kem meaning the land of black.
The land of blacks, correct, exactly, land of blacks. Kem was black, all black.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the tablets.
So Kem, there's so much Jews in here, but so in Kem, you understand me? That's Africa.
Understand me?
Right? I know everybody call the Middle East as if
it's Africa.
It's the Middle East is the most funniest made up concept, magical idea on the planet.
I know.
Because it's like you have in Africa, but no, this is like Middle East Africa. It doesn't count for sub-Saharan Africa, Northern Africa, and East Africa. Like,
that's crazy. You hear that shit? Hey man, listen, this is the Wake and Bake show. So let me know where y'all at in the United States or wherever the fuck y'all at. Let me know where y'all at, what y'all smoking on this Grand Rising. Where y'all at and what y'all smoking on. Shout out to Shay Pink 40 in the chat. Shout out to Lucky Two Sticks. Shout out to Daz Holden, Juan Torres. Shout out to Warnix. Shout out to Empress Goddess. Shout out to Sweet 19. Shout out to everybody that's in here that's just now tapping in, man. Make sure y'all share the live stream and support the channel, man. Let's continue.
But so they, according to their records and their handed down verbal history, their records are etched into caves, stuff like that. The Nomo came here from Sirius B. Okay, so there's a trinary star system that we know of called Sirius, the Sirius star system A, B, and C.
Yeah.
B is a failed star. In other words, it ran out of fuel, turned into a white dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
These beings were orbiting on a planet that orbited that star, according to the Dogon, not me. Came here, they're called the Nomo. The Dogon called them the Nomo. Taught them all about the star system, the orbital pattern, our entire solar system, the names, the shapes, the sizes, the colors of all the planets in our solar system, all the planetary alignments. And they even knew that that white dwarf star was so gravitationally heavy that one spoonful couldn't be lifted by over 1 million men. They even knew that. We learned that in quantum mechanics and quantum physics in the 1970s, 1980s. We hypothesized it. And obviously we couldn't even see that star until the 1980s, 1970s, I'm sorry.
So when did they record it?
Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago.
It's like, we're talking about over 6,000-7,000 years. They've had depictions of them and everything else, and they taught them how to make these Dogon masks, but they also gave them the Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes look like designs on clothing and patterns. When you turn these designs into three-dimensional structures, they become something called error correcting codes. And Professor James S. Gates, a black professor who used to be the science advisor for Obama when he was in office, he's now the professor, I believe, at the University of Maryland in supersymmetry and theoretical physics. He discovered these Adinkra codes. He rediscovered them, obviously, and he turned them into three-dimensional objects. And then from there, he found the error correcting codes. He was analyzing and accessing information about the ether of space-time, and he discovered that the entire ether, in other words, everything this soup that we're operating in throughout the entire universe, is running on a specific code. It's called an Adinkra code. It's called error correcting codes. The same exact kind of codes that run search engines and web browsers. That's what's running the universe.
Oh, listen now. At certain points in time in the interview, the glasses got to come on. This was one of those points in time when we're talking about Adinkra codes and going into multidimensional aspects of things. You know,
These motherfucking commercials be wilding, yeah. Hey, hit that like button. It give us a chance for y'all to hit that like button, thumb up the video, and support the channel, man. It'll give y'all enough time to do that, man. Hit that like button.
This episode is brought to you by Goldwater. But, you know, being connected to the stars, you understand me, and being connected to the universe is a very interesting aspect of thinking. You know, I grew up, you know, in the Nation of Islam, and in the Nation of Islam, there is a lot of, you know, astronomical teachings, you know, about astronomy and sizes of the planets, and that was one of the first things we had to learn, right? Where the distance between the planets, the speed of light, the speed of sound, right? You know, the total square mileage of the water, earth, land, mountains, rivers, lakes, right? Everything. So, you know, deep into the teachings of Elijah Muhammad is astronomy, right? He wasn't really into astrology because he said it was too much guesswork, but astronomy he was into because it was mathematical. And you're talking about, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, for a black man to be teaching astronomy, especially the poor black people in America. It was it was
like years ahead of time.
It was an interesting indication of, you know, where he got his knowledge, because he had a 3rd grade education, but he was teaching about astronomy, right? And he would dare the scholars of the world to prove him wrong. Of course, none of them did, right? Because he was talking about Pluto back in those days before they would recognize Pluto, right? And I used to always think about why. And one of the last books that he wrote was called The Theology of Time. And Theology of Time it's not a...
The last book Elijah Muhammad wrote was called The Theology of Time. I might have to get that book. I might have to get that.
In those days before they would recognize Pluto, right? And I used to always think about why. And one of the last books that he wrote was called The Theology of Time. And Theology of Time it's not a book for the beginner, initiate. You understand me? It's definitely more novice when you get into your understanding. And then that's when he proposed and he talked about alien life on Mars, right? He talked about the different planets who can and who can't go there, what they were doing and building. Like, he has very detailed composition of thought on extraterrestrial life. You understand me? And the origins of the planet itself and the universe itself. You know, and it's very interesting because we often believe that our connection to, you know, the way that the Dogons were able to chart the stars is lost, right? You know, but that knowledge has always been within our DNA and always been passed down within us. There's just certain keepers of that knowledge, right? And those keepers of the knowledge are not often listened to because, especially today, we in a very static, distracted, low-level way of thinking. So it's like you have to think about the mind, and it's not even to say that they were the most intelligent people on the planet, but connected. You understand me? As being different. Like, that's a different type of intelligence. Because we only measure academia or scholarship intelligence that you get from universities. But we don't measure the intelligence you get from the universe. You understand me? I want to talk about, you know, I don't want to leave time in the star system just yet, but I do want to talk about your relationship with astronomy and whether you believe astrology to be a true science.
Well, I'm actually an amateur astronomer.
Okay.
I've been doing that for a long time.
Yes, sir.
I have a real nice telescope. I have a Celestron SLR, and it's a real nice telescope. You can actually see the rings of Saturn, see Jupiter, you can see Mars. I took a famous picture that's been circulating for years of Mars during the summer. You take a picture of Mars during the summer, it actually has green, it has blues. It's not a red planet. You can see that the ice caps are smaller, which means they've melted. There's a lot of liquid water on the planet. And a lot of those greens, I believe, vegetation. You know, and now all the science data is coming back out from NASA. Now, all of a sudden, press releases are coming out. The soil on Mars is better for growing crops than on Earth. Now they're saying there's billions of tons of liquid water on Mars now. You know what I'm saying?
I can believe that.
And they're also talking about the fact that there's an atmosphere that is equivalent to being like 18,000 feet above sea level, but that's like going to Peru. I'm going to Peru in a few weeks, right? So same thing. You got to acclimate to that height, to that low oxygen, but you can still breathe as long as you stay close to the ground. Once you go higher up, it's going to be very dangerous. But if you're within like 10 feet of the ground, you can actually breathe. You just need to acclimate. So all of a sudden, all this is coming out because why? They're getting ready to, to build an infrastructure up there, in my opinion, and do a breakaway civilization. That's what the whole Elon Musk and all that's on Mars is all about. So I got really into it. Now, one of the reasons why I built the underground shelter that you mentioned, called Fort Terra Nova, that was back in 2012, was because I was analyzing the precession of the equinoxes, the movement of stars across the sky, the constellations across the sky. I noticed that they were speeding up. Based on my calculations, it was moving, instead of 27,000 years for one cycle, it was actually averaging around 25,000. I'm like, are the books wrong? Are these great astronomers wrong, or what's going on? And the more I dug into it, the more I looked into it, I realized the only thing that can explain this is if our sun is orbiting something. It would need breakaway speed, and it would, it would speed up and it would slow down, speed up and slow down. So I started digging into that. I found out that they had something they were calling nemesis out there, something that they couldn't exactly say what it was, but they were saying there was a huge object out there orbiting our sun, and our sun was orbiting it. And they found it about 3 or 4 years ago. They labeled it Planet 9, but really is a brown dwarf star. They found a brown dwarf orbiting our sun. So we live in a binary solar system. We don't have one sun, we actually have two. One's a brown dwarf, which you can only see with 2-mass infrared mode on your telescope. You have to have a digital scope to see that because it's so dim, you can't see with the naked eye.
Is the sun black or white?
The sun is white. It's bright white, so it's not black actually. If you actually were able to go out and look at the sun above the atmosphere, you'll find out that it's actually bright white light. When it hits our atmosphere, it scatters, and when the light breaks down, we see more of the yellows because the blues are kept up there. So the sun actually is bright white.
I saw them say that the sun is black, but it's the charge of light that gives it the appearance of white.
Well, it's a nuclear explosion. Now, what's interesting about the sun is that a lot of the light doesn't even get to the surface for like 100, 200,000 years. So it could be both, a little bit of both. It could be that it is a dark sun, but the light is what we can see. For example, the sun is 8 light minutes away from Earth. So if the sun went dark right now, we'd have daylight for 8 minutes. Now the light,
and that's 90 million miles away.
90 million miles away, right? And the light that's formed on the inside from the collision of the atoms on the inside, the nuclei, when they're colliding and splitting, that light, it doesn't go straight from the center core right out to the outside of the sun. It actually meanders through the inside of the sun for thousands and thousands of years before it releases itself and leaves the corona. Then it takes 8 minutes to get to Earth. So the light that we're experiencing right now is hundreds of thousands of years old before it even got to us. Before it left our sun.
The sunlight that we get, that we actually able to see, that we able to feel, is thousands of years old. It takes the thousands of years for it to get to us. Let me run that back, man. That's some shit.
Sliding and splitting, that light, it doesn't go straight from the center core right out to the outside of the sun. It actually meanders through the inside of the sun for thousands and thousands of years before it releases itself and leaves the corona. Then it takes 8 minutes to get to Earth. So the light that we're experiencing right now is hundreds of thousands of years old before it even got to us. I'm saying before it left our sun.
So light is very interesting. You understand me? I want to talk about light and water for a second. Look like we might get to the whole elemental period by the time we do this conversation. So, I remember before I got on a journey of, teaching in the financial literacy and liberation aspect, my deeper studies was into quantum physics and science and psychology and, a multitude of different things that I believe would help guide enlightenment. You understand me?
Yeah.
And so studying light, I started studying the 4th phase of water, right? Where in between, for those who don't know, water has 4 different phases. Some people say 5, but we're going to the 4th. You understand me? Solid, liquid, gas. You understand me? And I used to think about that because I say the only difference between the water and each structure is the proton arrangement, not the proton count.
Right.
So it's not something new that's happening to the water that is entered into it that changes its state. It's the arrangement, you understand me, of its energy. And so when I thought about that, and then of course, light is energy. So we can say that it's light that changes. And then water has the most different states out of any other element. And so I liken that to consciousness. right?
Yeah.
That our consciousness can be in rigid states, it can be in flow states, right?
Yeah.
But what changes? Your consciousness going from a lower consciousness to a higher consciousness is enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right? When we read, right, I always say we re-add, right? We're re-adding knowledge that is already in us because we're not actually, nothing physical is going in there. Nothing is going to tinkering and changing with your brain. It's literally electricity changing the arrangement.
Yeah.
You understand me? And the structure of your state of consciousness. Yeah. And you can see a symbol, right, and gain enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right? And it can cause an inner knowing that can have your mind, raising this vibration, right?
Once upon a time at the magical Everly Estate, landscaper Larry and his trusty crew.
And that's not something that we often think about. And a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh, this conversation ain't gonna high level for real, right?" But I say the fourth phase of water on purpose because everything around us emits energy. Every single thing. We walk into a room, we say, "Damn, the vibe is off."
Right.
We don't realize we're speaking in scientific terms. Yeah. You understand me?
Science.
Yeah, it's true science. The vibe is off, but you have an intuitive.
And when you mean vibe is short for vibration, and vibration is a tone of frequency. So when somebody comes in and saying, "Oh, the vibe is off," in technical terms, the vibrational frequency is off between us in the room, in the area, which can cause different reactions emotionally. You see what I'm saying? There's chambers that our ancestors created strictly for the emotion. That's a fact.
Connection on what that vibe is.
Yeah.
Right? That there's friction in the air, that the ions, you understand me, are positive or negative charge when you go into different environments.
Yeah.
And so if we understood that, then number one, we will create a more conscious sensitivity to the environments that we go to.
Yeah.
But we are in environments that are often very austere to, our embodiment, our aura, you understand me, and who we are. Because, for those who don't know, we emit an aura from our heart.
Yeah.
You understand me? And when that is pierced, that's when we start to get sick. And we are in environments we're not supposed to be in that are in friction to whatever our vibration is. That's when we feel off, right? And there's only certain people, and I'm a Minister Farrakhan said, somebody asked him once, they said, "Are you able to go into all of these different type of environments, you understand me, and not be changed by them or not feel sick by them sometimes because you're around all these different type of people?" And he said, "I bring my own atmosphere."
That's right.
Hey man, if y'all enjoying this video, hit that like button and thumb up the video, man. Thumb up the video if y'all feeling like y'all in the build is fire. Support the channel if y'all feeling like y'all enjoying it. My time and content for bringing this shit out. This is some fire conversation. It's a fire build. PayPal information ticking at the bottom of the screen. Cash App information at the bottom right of the screen by the Grizzly Bird. If y'all not following me on Instagram, that's at the bottom right of the screen as well, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. It's very important for you guys to do that. I'm saying the real support the real. Let's go.
Environments we're not supposed to be in that are in friction to whatever our vibration is, that's when we feel off, right? And there's only certain people, and I'm a Minister Farrakhan said, somebody asked him once, they said, "Are you able to go into all of these different type of environments, you understand me, and not be changed by them or not feel sick by them sometimes you're around all these different type of people?" And he said, "I bring my own atmosphere."
That's right.
You understand me? Like, I bring my own atmosphere.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I walk into a place and I put a bubble around myself.
Yeah.
I just literally put an energy bubble. I just see it coming out of my head and wrap myself. And I walk through, I got my energy bubble.
Yeah. No, that's super key. I mean, so when we go to water, right, we 70 to 90% water. Some people say I'm basically almost 100% because even those things can be made up of water.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about water and the effect that light has on water, right? Because, water is charged by light, and water has memory in it. You understand me? I think it was Dr. John Pollock that was given a breakdown on the fourth phase of water. And it was one of the same doctors who discovered, I believe, HIV back in the day, who's trying to figure out ways to utilize sound waves to create medicine.
Yeah.
You understand?
How you think that's what they've been doing? Like, if you don't know, and when you take your jewelry to go get clean, for instance, go take it to a jewelry store, they don't clean it with normal solution, and they use electromagnetic cleaning. They put in this water base and hit it with electroshock that cleans your jewelry. That's called acid etching, right? This is something that was invented by the Aboriginals in the Great Lakes region, and it's still a process that's still being used today. We really have to understand that a lot of this information and a lot of this science, they've been stealing and undermined.
Sound waves to create medicine. You understand me? And basically, that every disease has a frequency, and if he can counteract that disease with a dominant frequency of the cure, then he can cure that person, because water traps frequency in his protons. You understand me? So that if our environment is a certain vibration, then we take on that vibration of that environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same study about rice and water. When you speak over certain things, you're trapping that, right? So that's why nobody who's angry should ever serve food. Or they dislike, you make a waiter mad, don't eat the food from there anymore. You got to keep them happy and pleasant. Otherwise, they can give you food poisoning just based on their negative energy. Right? But I bring that up to bring this. You know, as human beings, the things that we should know the most about, we know the least about. And that's being a human being, right? You know, water and light, right? We are light beings and we are water beings. You understand me? Holy. So I studied that to understand the effects that the environment has on myself. That's knowledge of self, knowledge of cells. So, you know, what is it about light itself as a messenger of information that is important that we observe from the things that we eat, besides breaking, right? Where we go to, but at the same time being a way for our brains to be able to travel, right? Like, and then can you correlate it to biophotons? You understand me? You know,
you understand me?
That's why I had to call this short.
Hey, if y'all can still hear everything loud and clear, man, drop them fire emojis in the chat, man. Let me know if y'all can hear everything loud and clear.
Conversation. So, as light beings, what does that mean?
Well, one thing people don't understand is that we are all made of actual light. So everything in the third dimension is made of light. And so we are light and light is us. We know that the illusion of this avatar body and this chair I'm sitting on and the table that you're sitting at, the illusion of it's there. But what is this? This is slowed down light waves. When you slow light down and the consciousness interacts with it, it collapses into what we call solid matter. So solid matter is actually an illusion.
Right.
For example, the only thing stopping my hand from going through this chair is the repulsion of the electromagnetic frequencies. I don't actually touch the chair. You don't touch anything. And so if I can phase shift the atomic frequency of my hand to match the same frequency of the atoms in this chair, I pass my hand right through it, because atoms are 99.999% empty space.
Right, like pouring liquid into liquid.
Exactly. You know, that's why when galaxies merge together, like my hand to.
Let me run that back. That's some deep shit right there. I gotta run that back. That's some deep shit right there. Let's see what the brother just said.
Down light waves. We know that the illusion of this avatar body and this chair I'm sitting on and the table that you're sitting at, the illusion of it's there. But what is this? This is slowed down light waves. When you slow light down and the consciousness interacts with it, it collapses into what we call solid matter. So solid matter is actually an illusion.
Right.
For example, the only thing stopping my hand from going through this chair is the repulsion of the electromagnetic frequencies. I don't actually touch the chair. You don't touch anything. And so if I can phase shift the atomic frequency of my hand to match the same frequency of the atoms in this chair, I pass my hand right through it, because atoms are 99.999% empty space.
Right, like pouring liquid into liquid.
Exactly. You know, that's why when galaxies merge together, like we're merging with a galaxy right now called Sagittarius, you don't see any real collisions happening or anything around.
That's my Sagittarius.
Yeah. Because, you know, galaxies are mostly in space, just like atoms. Everything's a fractal. So we are light beings, and also because of that, we're a fractal. We have consciousness, which is also light. And
what is a fractal?
A fractal is when you take, for example, if you look at a hologram, and you go to one part of the hologram, one tiny piece, and look at it, you'll see the entire image in that smallest piece. The only thing you lose is a little bit of resolution. Okay. And so it's important for people to understand that this entire realm is a fractal of a whole. In other words, as above, so below.
So if you look at an atom, it gives you the whole thing.
It gives you the whole thing, absolutely.
So human beings, would you consider a fractal of the universe?
We're a fractal of the universe. And our consciousness, even though it's one consciousness, it's also a fractal of the main master of consciousness. And it's really incredible that every thought that you think in your skull, it leaves your skull as a form of a light wave. Every time you think. Yeah, man. Every light wave, every time you think. We know this because we can put a cap on your head in a laboratory, put a little electrodes on it, sensors, and tell you to think about something, and it's going to show up on the computer screen because the computer is reading the light waves coming out of your skull. We can't see those waves because we can only see 1% of the light spectrum as human beings.
Right.
We're limited. We don't see gamma rays. We don't see ultraviolet.
What affects us the most?
Yeah, exactly. Those are things that are all around us that are really, interacting with us all the time, and our brains too.
Right. And that's what I was getting to with the water, because the ultraviolet radiation is what causes that fourth phase to flow, like blood flow within our bodies and things of that nature, by creating a separation between positive and negative charge. And in between that small space right there is where it creates that charge and flow. And they was doing a study where they tried to take two prods, put one on the other end to create energy, right? But go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So, we have this power of thought, which you were talking about, having the ability to even travel through light, leaving your mind and traveling light. You can actually connect to other realms, other dimensions through conscious thought. Quantum entangling your light waves with other light waves that exist in the universe, not only in the third dimension, but even multiple dimensions.
Right. So like quantum entanglement, for those who don't understand, are two basically atoms that are entangled with one another, even if they are at vast distances.
Right.
Right. And Einstein called it, spooky, right? Because he didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
Yeah, but we understand.
He said the spooky acting at a distance.
Yeah.
And you can entangle atoms, you can entangle photons, which are light. Right. So
do you think that's what happens when people fall in love? They consider to be soulmates?
I think it happens. Well, your mind can entangle with somebody on the other side of the universe. A lot of the times, you can say, I came up with this great idea.
Right.
But you really did. You just downloaded that idea because you entangled with the information.
Entangled.
That's all it is.
And some people even think that your thoughts are whispers from your ancestors, or suggestions, or some inputs from your ancestors, or maybe from a higher power, from beings from another dimension. I don't know. This is what they say.
All information actually exists, and now, like big time mainstream quantum physicists and theoretical physicists are admitting that this is true now.
Yeah.
Like it's not woo-woo science no more. This is like you getting taught in university. When I was at MIT studying applied neuroscience, one of the things we learned about was this exact thing. The fact that not only can you walk in a room, like you were saying earlier, and you can sense the vibe, and you can actually transmit negative or positive energy to somebody. If somebody's at a low frequency, and you walk in positive and high frequency enough, your light being can actually raise their energy level.
Right.
And if you're not high enough and they're low, they can actually drop your energy level.
Right.
Depends on how strong you are consciously. And then also we talked about the fact that we can entangle with information throughout the entire multiverse. So information can even come from the universe's own mind. If you're able to discern that information, you can actually then, if you put the action behind it, it could be one of the greatest inventions. It could be Web3. It could be, whatever you got going on now. NFTs, whatever. All this stuff comes from other places.
So biophotons is what I wanted to get to. Because biophotons to me is very interesting, because I think it's like taking the concept of science and physics and being able to apply it, you understand me, in a real world sense, and connect, yourself and your will, right? It was Dr. Wesley. He has the Book of God. He is a very, very dope book, very amazing book. Everybody should study it. But he gives a breakdown of biophotons, and this is one of my first introductions to it, when he was talking about a study that was done at the university, to study biophoton levels, which is basically, for those who don't know, is light within the human body.
Right.
And so one of the things that they studied was the fact that during a time that a patient was sick, you understand me, the light that they emitted glowed brighter, right? And of course, that was because the body was working to heal itself. And the thought process was that if you go back to ancient human being origins, that those human beings were just light beings, complete light beings. And as I'm positing this thought right now, as melanin, you understand me, overtook those bodies. And you're talking about, that very dark melanin, and then you have light, piercing out of that, which used to be where hair follicles are. You understand me? Then you're talking about a blue aura or a blue hue, right? And so in ancient texts, where you see a lot of the blue representation of gods or beings, there were the representation of the original man and woman as light beings. Yeah. Now, the way that I connected to science more so is the idea that, our mind has light within it, right? And it communicates directly with the light outside us. And that this is scientifically proven that we can think things and bend the wheel of reality around us. Like the Matrix played with our concepts and ideas. The spoon doesn't exist idea. But more so is, each one of us have different levels of consciousness and conscious power. Yeah. And the ability to bend and change reality around us, which is also a very masculine trait because testosterone increases that biophotonic energy. You understand me, within the body. So depleted testosterone depletes willpower as well. So it's saying that, for me, I always say that one act of masculinity is willpower, the ability to take thoughts outside your mind and produce them into reality. Yeah. So if you have a people who are not able to produce their thoughts, then those people are lost without that will, right? Without that power, without that guidance. And so that's something that I think about often as I see our brothers and sisters hoping and wishing and trying to bring things forth, but they just can't because that light inside them is dead.
Yeah, a lot of the male in this society right now, they're being emasculated.
Oh yeah, sterilized.
And so, and a lot of it's chemical based.
Yes.
It's the food,
chemical castration.
Chemical castration, man. It's all these microplastics that are, we're inhaling them, we're eating them. It's in the food, it's in everything. They did a test on those microplastics. They were converting male frogs into women.
Right.
This is just crazy stuff. So
that's a hell of a leap.
It's a big leap. That's a big leap. Oh man, but it's so true. So it's taking away the testosterone levels in men are the lowest it's been since they've been recording.
Right.
And so, to that effect, what you're saying is, the levels are dropping, and the ability for men to make a lot of logical decisions is also dropping.
Right.
You see men now operating more off of emotion versus logic.
Right.
That balance of logic versus emotion isn't there anymore.
Right.
A lot of times, there's a lot more men that are more emotional than women.
Yes.
So their plan is working out, and the plan for them really is to not let us discover our light body. Not let us discover our light consciousness, the power that we really truly have inside of us to change and bend and mold this matrix to our will and overcome and supersede where they are.
Right.
What they want us to do is just continue to stay in these small little pockets, fighting each other over scraps, and not really ever getting to the higher levels and realizing that we're supposed to be able to bring our heaven right here to this earth right now.
And see, that reminds me of when you talk about the beings that can see and they look down, right? Like you imagine somebody.
And they going in right now. These brothers is actually going in. And I actually agree with a lot of the shit that they saying right now, especially with us internally. We have had a reset, a shut off, a reswitch, a reboot, an update, and we have lost touch with our true power. We have lost touch with our true ability. We have lost touch with our responsibilities and our connection with our environment. This is something that we have to replace and get back into it with. So I have to say I agree with what these brothers are saying. This is the brother 19 Keys and Billy Carson. We will continue the conversation between ancient civilization, multi-dimensions, and how time truly works.
And somebody in a tower looking down on the people playing the game of the rat race, but they can see dimensions. They can see where the people are headed. They can see all different angles, right? And those are the people what considered to be the 1%. You understand me? And then, of course, that can be translated into multi-different.
You said turn my mic up, Chi Alpha. Y'all can't hear me? Y'all can't hear me out there?
Names and forms and species and things of that nature. But the ruling class, if you will. You understand me? The manipulating class, those who practice tricknology and deceit on the rest of the population to not know their power.
Right.
Like the greatest trick of the devil is to get you to not know that you're a God.
That's it.
You understand me? Because the moment that you have self-realization of your power, number one, you stop looking at them to help manage you discover it.
Exactly.
Because if we go to chattel slavery times, and I like to say chattel slavery just because it's such a different form than the rest of the slavery.
Yeah.
But chattel slavery is all about breaking that knowledge of self and that knowing of who you are. Because how can you make a slave unless he is completely dependent upon your will?
Exactly.
And the testosterone filled masculine slaves were the hardest ones to break. Yep. The ones that have their own.
All right, good looking, y'all. I just wanted to make sure the audio was cool on y'all end. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be low when I'm cutting in and inserting. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, share the live stream. You know what I mean? Support the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? If you're enjoying the build, hit the notification bell. You feel me? Let's go.
The belief systems, because they weren't going to relinquish that power to someone else.
Right.
No, they fought, and there were insurrections all throughout times because that willpower was fighting another will.
Yeah.
You understand me? And so now what we got is more so Chris Rock, where you don't fight the will no more. You just let it slap you around. You understand me? I just had to drop it up. I couldn't help myself. But the lack of
Oh, man.
I love jokes, y'all. I love jokes. I love comedy. But no, for real though, because here we are in present day, and we talk about chemical castration, man. This is very important. Like, we've went through so many different phases of fighting those beings.
Yeah.
You understand me? Who bring in drugs, who bring in guns, who bring in propaganda, who bring in, MK Ultra.
Yeah.
You understand me? And
Toxins,
poisons from the air to every single thing.
It's not black.
No, definitely not. we ain't got that type of control.
No.
Unfortunately, that's the issue.
Right.
So, like you can take that back to it's unfortunate that, the greatest minds are producing destructive things. Their greatest minds are producing destructive things.
Yeah.
And now when we are in this phase of
shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all gotta enjoy the build. You know what I'm saying? Thumb up the video. Understand? Let's go.
In this phase of reality is figuring out who we are. Because that's still always the biggest key to all of this.
Yeah.
Because the hardest thing is to teach another black man or woman who you are.
Right.
Let me teach you whether you want to call yourself black, original, you understand me, Moor, Hebrew, Israelite, alien, whatever you want to call yourself. You can describe yourself as an Anunnakian.
Yeah.
But understanding at the core, you understand me, that being of godliness that you possess,
right,
and that is unstoppable once you truly recognize who you are.
Yeah.
Not just from literature, not just through paperwork. I'm talking about through spirit, things that can't be taught, that have to be known deep within.
You have to walk in your own power. When I walk places, when I go places, I expect the universe to unfold for me. I expect things to open up for me and things to just happen for me when I walk into places. I can just be going to the grocery store. I'm walking in power. People, if they can jump inside of my body and feel what I'm feeling, they'd be like, God damn.
Yeah.
This guy really, you know what I'm saying? I'm walking everywhere I go. I'm walking in pure power. I act like I'm commanding and wielding the universe to my will. And that's something that scares us. The reason why is because we've been programmed to think if you do that, that's of the devil and that's evil. And you got to beg somebody else to give you this power. You can't just walk in this kind of.
Shout out to Lil Yos for the Cash App donation, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Shout out to the brother Lil Yos for supporting the channel. Make sure y'all support the channel as well, man. Hit that like button, thumb up the video. Once again, shout out to my brother Lil Yos for supporting the channel. Thumb up that video, man. Let's try to get 200 likes in the video.
Power, but the same power that created everything we see in this entire universe, in this multiverse, is the same power that's inside of my body.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something, because when we talk about power, culture is probably our culture specifically, which is getting to our spirit, powers this world. We are the battery.
Yeah.
Melanin is a battery itself.
Yeah.
Right. And when we talk about that, I was studying, years ago, the Kardashev scale.
Okay.
Right. When we're talking about type 0 to 1, 3, 4 civilization. And when I was studying back then, I would relate everything I learned in physics and science to Black culture and how it could be an analogy to where we can utilize to liberate ourselves.
Sorry about that, you guys. Them commercials. Hit that like button. They give y'all a chance to thumb up the video while these commercials play out, man. Thumb up the video. Let's get it.
No, this Carter scale is a model of to Black culture and how it could be an analogy to where we can utilize to liberate ourselves. So for those who don't know, this Carter scale is a model of, you know, how civilizations can grow, if you will, right, into more efficient system and models, and more control, right? So we are currently, well, I believe, you know, like 0.5, but type 0 civilization,
type 0.
right? Type 0.
We crawling though. We trying to crawl.
We try. The concepts are getting out there.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, the politics in the way, to be honest.
That's what happened. The polytrick.
Yeah, the polytricks. So type 0 is saying that we get our energy from dead coal and plants.
Yeah.
You understand me? That, you know, our energy systems, number one, are inefficient. You understand me? And that's why we steady have these energy wars. You understand me? That we are dependent upon these resources that we don't have the ability to reproduce ourselves. You understand me? And or have control over supply. And so, you know, that's why human beings are always at risk for extinction. Ideally, is because we don't control external things outside. You understand me? We can't control a meteor hitting this planet. We can't control the sun exploding. We can't control any of those things. So that's why man now just wants to jump to another planet. You understand me? Because he don't believe that he will be able to gain control before it's too late, right? But a type 1 is more so talking about the ability to control weather, control earth, control the sun, or at least in a sense being able to absorb all energy from the sun and utilize that to power the world that is today. And then you have the analogy of type 1 type systems, right? Type 1 language will be considered like English. English, you know, they're a language that's going extinct every day. You understand me? And English is rapidly fast growing all across the planet Earth to become a type 1 language where everybody on the planet speaks English. So that is a method, you understand me, of energy transfer, communication, and translation, and all things on this planet Earth will be in understanding. Then when we're talking about systems like music, hip hop is I consider hip hop basically a type 1.
Drip check. You already know the vibes, man. Make sure I hit that like button, thumb up the video, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I want to say peace and blessings. This is the Wake and Bake Show. Let me know where y'all at, you know what I mean, and what y'all smoking on this Wake and Bake Show, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen. Let's go.
System when you're talking about music, because hip hop produced beings, number one, and tones and frequencies and rhythms that are known all across the planet Earth. Right. And then you have other beings, the Beyoncés of the world, the Kanyes of the world, who are known by people all throughout the entire planet Earth. You understand me? From a one world system, these are very identifiable.
How many shots y'all done? How many mental shots y'all done took? Metaphorical shots y'all done took from him saying, understand me? How many times have he said it in the chat, y'all? I just want to see if y'all keeping up.
Symbols, right? Because they're not, you don't know the person. So the person is, the brand is a symbol, which is a representation of a energy. You understand me? That has a translation that creates feeling, right? From each person that knows it in their perspective and their connection to it. But after I say all of that, I say all that to say hip hop culture is the most powerful energy that exists on this planet Earth. You understand me? Because it can move reality in ways that.
Now listen, let's break down hip hop culture while you get into it. Hip hop culture is Aboriginal culture. Hip hop is comprised of the ingenuity, the energy, the vibrational frequency, the content, the experience, the wisdom of an American on American soil. That's from your ancestors. And he's saying it's one of the most powerful influences in the world. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Say all of that. I say all that to say Hip hop culture is the most powerful energy that exists on this planet Earth. You understand me? Because it can move reality in ways that we don't even understand yet. Because it's a one world communication system to all melanated people across the planet Earth. That we can literally put everybody on the same vibration and frequency. You understand me? By exporting culture throughout the diaspora.
Yeah.
And if we understood how powerful that concept was, we have the ability to leap past and make quantum leaps over everybody with this system that we created called hip hop. And this is why we have so many culture vultures, because culture vultures understand this expressway throughout the world.
Oh, yeah.
If I connect to a rapper, if I'm a white guy, and if I'm a smart white guy, I need to, and if I can afford it, I need to get close to the rapper. The rappers don't realize they have more leverage than I do.
They're the big influences of the world.
I've never seen a rapper understood their value so much when they stand next to a white guy and give them their presence.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're giving them an culture and you're giving them an audience where you're spreading their message and connecting them to hip hop.
Right.
And it's wildly known that there are a lot of culture vultures. We just don't speak on it.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because people are, you know, favored for this, favored for that. But once you really understand it, there was I'm not gonna name a name at this point. Famous, he might be a billionaire, maybe a couple $100 million or whatever. But I was speaking in the same arena he was speaking in. He was speaking right after me.
Yeah.
You know, and I kept trying to rub shoulders. I'm giving him a cold shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't want no pictures, no nothing.
Right.
Because what I realized that he would get more value if I took a picture with him than he would get from me.
Right.
Because now he's connected to top thought leader in the culture. He seems down. You understand me? He seems connected.
Yeah.
History would look at that picture and say we had a relationship.
Yeah.
You understand me? How could he be other than, you know, in the way we trying to depict his morality if he was connected to 19 keys at that time?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I utilize that as leverage? Why would I just allow somebody to absorb my value, connect to my culture, but we don't think about time? We don't think about our true power at all.
Energy vampire.
Energy vampires. That's exactly what it is, man. These are energy vampires. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Share the live stream, man. I appreciate it if each and every one of you guys in the chat, brothers and sisters, share this on one of your social media outlets. You feel me? Yeah, man. Share the live stream. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I do want to say shout out to the person that just donated. They want to stay anonymous. So shout out to you. We appreciate the Cash App donation. We appreciate all the support. You know what I'm saying? Over here on the Big Aboriginal Power platform. So shout out to you. They want to stay anonymous. So if you want to donate and stay anonymous, just type that in the sector where you if you donate. You know what I'm saying? You can stay anonymous. We appreciate that. We appreciate all the support. You know what I'm saying? Says person also says salute, young brother. Appreciate that. Let's continue this fire as good.
So why wouldn't I utilize that as leverage? Why would I just allow somebody to absorb my value, connect to my culture, but we don't think about time? We don't think about our true power at all.
Energy vampires.
Energy vampires.
Yeah.
And we utilize our dead leaders as our coal and our energy. You understand me?
Yeah.
So we're not operating in the present system, controlling our weather, controlling our culture, controlling our time, controlling our language, our mind, our music.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about taking
one platform to create all of your branding design.
There you go, man. These commercials be hitting a nigga bad. You feel me? But it's all good to give y'all enough time to hit the like button and thumb up the video. You feel what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Controlling our language, our mind, our music.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about taking, you know, melanated people from a type 0 civilization to a type 1 civilization. And then, you know, type 2 and 3, those civilizations, you talking about controlling planets.
Oh, yeah.
All kind of stuff. We don't even need to go there yet. We're far off. But it's an interesting model and it's an interesting idea when you're talking about measuring progress of a people that have been trapped under another people's thumb.
Yeah.
You understand me? And working to increase the aggregate efficiency of our output. Yeah. What we put out based on the energy that we get back.
Yeah.
And how do we increase that as a people,
right,
you know, for a revolution?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, man, I want to stop this part of the video just to shout out to everybody in the chat. If y'all want to shop Aboriginal, y'all want to be able to get some Aboriginal memorabilia, y'all want to wear some big Aboriginal power gear, some Supreme Chief holiday gear, which is very drippy. Make sure you go to weare2am.com. Make sure you go to weare2am.com. Go get some of that Supreme Chief Holiday merch. Go get some of that 2 a.m. merch. Go get some of that Big Fat merch, man. Go support Aboriginal clothing and business, man. Weare2am.com. Go shop. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure y'all support the channel. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Right? I want to talk to you about something else. Are you talking about AI? Now, I look at, we know we are in a time of declining population.
Yeah.
Right? Specifically in America anyway. You understand me? When Elon Musk said that, you know, we need population growth, and Bill Gates say we need population decline.
Yeah.
What I realized, they were talking about two different places. Elon Musk was talking about America, Bill Gates was talking about Africa.
Yeah.
So Bill Gates was saying that they're going to have another 2 billion people by 2050. We need population decline over there. Elon Musk say, well, listen, we already have fewer births than we do deaths. You understand me? So therefore, we're on a decline.
Yeah.
We need more birth, right? So he's trying to get out of here.
Yeah, he's trying to go. He's trying to get out.
He said, I'm out, man. Party too crowded. You feel me? He grew up in South Africa, so he know what it's like where it's 7% of them over there.
You know.
So it's interesting because I look at those who are in power, of course, power wants to maintain power.
Yeah.
Right? So it only makes sense that the people that are in power wants to continue to cede power, and they don't want to concede power to anybody else. So when you're talking about playing God, that's what they want to do. If you can't have the population size, we have to figure out another way to maintain control.
Yeah.
And AI to me is one of those ways to be able to maintain control. You won't have the brain trust anywhere because people outside are no longer just coming in and saying, well, we'll give our brain to America, spark invention and innovation.
Yeah.
There's decreasing innovation and invention in this country.
Yeah.
So not only you got AI in the form of artificial intelligence, and I'm 19 keys, so I'll break things down into 1-9. But A is numerical 1 and I is numerical 9. And that 19 is representation of male, female, conscious, subconscious, you understand me? God itself, because everything is between that 1 through 9, collapsed back into a 1. When we talk about artificial intelligence, it's more so not even,
like he said, that artificial intelligence, that mathematical understanding and science is the understanding the science between 0 to 9. Everything goes back to 0 and 9. Nothing reached past that capacity. That's the largest frequency. That's the largest that we can go in division and count. It goes back to 0 to 9. The Olmecs created that science. They also created other mathematical science that you see comprised on the Mayan or the Olmec calendar. You understand that? Seriously, man, we got to understand that. This is Aboriginal culture that's been spread across the world, and they don't know who it rightfully belongs to or who's the originator. But I'm here to tell you that we've analyzed the crime scene. I've picked up on the fingerprints, and they lead back to the Americas, period.
When we talk about artificial intelligence, it's more so not even just AI of artificial intelligence, artificial insemination, artificial ingredients as well, right? And these are all the ways that I see that those are in power are working to maintain power, utilizing AI. Can you speak upon the future of AI and where we headed?
Yeah, definitely. The AI is dangerous. If you look into the ancient Sumerian tablets, you'll discover in the Epic of Gilgamesh, who was considered to be half human, half god. They call him a demigod. His father was Enki, and he had a human mother, according to the tablets.
Yeah.
And they wanted to send Enlil, who was his uncle, sent him on a journey, a hero's journey. This is the original story of Noah's Ark, by the way. This is where the Bible got it from.
So Sumerian, for those who don't know, the Anunnaki, first civilization.
First civilization, the cradle of civilization, they call it the cradle of civilization, coming out of Mesopotamia.
What did they invent?
Roads, city grid streets, bicameral Congress, plumbing systems. I mean, you name it.
Damn, that's some advanced shit. I want to also take this time out. Everybody pay attention, and hopefully everybody can hear me. I want everybody to pay attention. Make sure y'all go support the Black Digital Dollar. Man, if we finally got some currency that we can call our own, make sure y'all go shop and support. Go get your DVDX. Go get all your NFTs. Go get down with the Black Digital Dollar. Create you a wallet. Start stacking up on it. It's going to be the most valued thing in America, also in the world. Support Black Digital Dollar. All right, somebody drop that link in the chat. Let's get it.
So Sumerian, for those who don't know, the Anunnaki, first civilization.
First civilization, the cradle of civilization, they call it the cradle of civilization coming out of Mesopotamia.
What is the
Anunnakis, Atlanteans, aka Americans. It's all the same thing. It's all been romanticized, mythologized, you know what I mean, story formatted. You see what I'm saying? So when they say Anunnaki, you can simply say Atlantean. And if you say Atlantean, we know that they're talking about Americans or Aboriginals from America. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the Black Digital Dollar in there, man. Make sure y'all support that. Make sure y'all support that link in the chat. The Black Digital Dollar, go support.
Tamia.
What did they invent?
Roads.
Sumerian, for those who don't know, the Anunnaki, first civilization.
First civilization, the cradle of civilization, they call it the cradle.
They also called Atlantis the first civilization. I'm saying they're using a different wording to say the same thing. History repeats itself, and it only repeats itself because they make up the story and then romanticize it with different figures, and they make the same actions, the same displace, the same system and places in history. You will see it in the Noah story. You will see it in the book of Gilgamesh. You will see it in the Atlantis story. You will see it now within mainstream science talking about it as the Younger Dryas. This is all the same story being explained from different perspectives and from different people that went through it.
First civilization, the cradle of civilization, they call it the cradle of civilization coming out of Mesopotamia.
What did they invent?
Roads, city grid streets, bicameral Congress, plumbing systems. I mean, you name it, everything you could think of, schooling and chemistry and mathematics, and they even had a metric system back then. Talking about, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago, they had a metric system. And so they literally, the whole modern society we have today came out of Sumer. There's a tablet that where Enlil is speaking, and he's showing his sister.
They think the system came out of Sumer. But when you get into the story of Sumer, they tell you they came from a Western land that they had to sail on boats to get to the point where we call Sumer. That's part of the book of Gilgamesh. He just brought it up. He just brought it up. And then when you look at that, Mesopotamia is 5,000 years old, but when you go to America, Peruvian area, which he talked about, he said he's going to Peru. You should definitely go check out Corral Supe, which is one of the oldest civilizations in the world, dating back to 5,500 years old, predating Sumer by 500 years and predating Egypt by 1,000. This is documented. This ain't what I'm saying. This is what the experts is now saying.
Tablet that where Enlil is speaking, and he's showing his sister this crystal tablet, by the way, is what it's called. And he's showing her his plans for all time on this planet. He said, these plans I have here, these plans are going to last for all time. And that's where we're still in it today. We still got the same poly trickster program he put in back then. They had their own numerical kingship, the way they ran their selves, but they gave humans the political system.
Hey man, that's some commercials. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, man. If y'all enjoying the build, hit the like button. Support the channel. Let Big Al know that y'all enjoying the build, man. Cash App information on the bottom of the screen. PayPal information is ticking across at the bottom. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, once again, before I even start, these commercials and shit still going. So before I even get back to it, I need everybody in the chat to drop a fire emoji in the chat to let me know that y'all can hear everything loud and clear. All right, let's go.
It gave humans the political system.
That's a very
and they also installed inflation. and he's showing her his plans for all time on this planet. He said,
For
these
all
plans
time.
I have here, these plans are going to last for all time. And that's where we're still in it today. We still got the same poly trickster program he put in back then. They had their own numerical kingship, the way they ran their selves, but they gave humans the political system.
That's a very
And they also installed
idea.
inflation at that same exact time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a very, 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 very interesting idea. That so in that system, right? I know that children who are born, and the same time you're born in any time, you succumb to a dominant paradigm. The dominant frequency wins, right? And so, do you believe that based on, you know, the Anunnaki or Enlil having this crystal tablet, you understand me, where he wrote down his plans for time dominance.
Yeah.
You understand me, so that he can conquer ages of time. Do you think that is
given a name, a race, and a religion, and we're basically we grew up defending that whole identity. It's a fake identity. It's not really us. We've kind of forgotten and relinquished who we really are and given it up to this system, this institutionalized system that was put in place thousands of years ago. But if we really come together, that's the biggest part we got to do. We got to come together and stop all this divide and conquer. You know, you're this religion, I'm this thing, or you're this light skin and I'm this dark skin. All this stuff we got to, you know, black men want to fight black men all the time. We want to attack each other socially now on social media because you're doing too good and I'm not doing as good as you. We got to drop all of that. We got to stop all of that. We got to synchronize. We got to realize that we're better together than apart, not tearing each other down, fighting each other, slapping each other, all this kind of crazy stuff. We got to come together and we got to realize, man, how can I bring a piece of the puzzle? How can you bring a piece of the puzzle? You know what I'm saying? Just sitting here talking to you, you got pieces of the puzzle that I don't have, and I got pieces of the puzzle that you don't have. We can start building a whole doggone puzzle. We can put a puzzle together, and you add more people. Next thing you know, that picture, that painting is amazing.
Yeah,
we can make a mosaic.
Yeah,
and so until we get to that point, though, we're always going to be bickering and fighting and arguing over resources and pocket watching and hating and worrying about this, worrying about that, because that's the program they instilled into us. We got to now override this DNA and this RNA programming code. We got to say, you know what? We got to talk to ourselves. You know what? I'm being a hater right now. I'm being a troll right now. I'm pocket watching right now. I'm being jealous right now. Why am I doing that? And analyze inside of ourselves. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel like this? And work on our internal self and learn how to not be that way. Learn how to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Learn how to try to work with somebody. Learn how to ask better questions so you can understand better instead of getting angry. And learn how to control your emotional state. And when we can do that and we can link up and we can make big power moves together, that's when the world's going to change.
That's very powerful. You understand me? And of course, it's something that, you know, we've known but not been able to do.
Yeah.
So we talk about DNA, right? Because really, in order to give a breakdown on, you know, the Anunnaki and the Sumerians, we need to dedicate an entire breakdown for that story, and we can, you know, say that for another day and time. But I want to go and talk about DNA and the ability to upgrade our DNA. You know, one of the ways that I upgrade my DNA is through travel. You understand me? And through meditation and eating and environment, things of that nature. But can you talk about DNA and our ability to upgrade our DNA and some of the methods that we can utilize practically?
First of all, people have to understand that DNA is a storage medium. It actually stores data and information. So when we say things like your program code and you're operating off your code, it's actually a true scientific statement. 1 gram of DNA can hold 433 petabytes of data. There was one scientist, George Church, replicated his ebook 80 billion times and downloaded it onto 1 gram of DNA, which is one drop on the tip of your finger.
80 billion.
80 billion. What he did was he realized that DNA stored information. He was like, wow, our body is full of data. The whole human body is full of data. Billions and billions and billions of petabytes of data. And what he said was, he realized you can take data from a server, a computer, and convert it from zeros and ones into A's, C's, T's, and G's, which is what your DNA reads. And then you can actually download the data into the DNA and store data in a volume instead of storing it linear, like time, one arrow.
Damn, y'all heard that?
And what he said was, he realized you can take data from a server, a computer, I mean, and convert it from zeros and ones into A's, T's, and G's, which is what your DNA reads. And then you can actually download the data into the DNA and store data in a volume instead of storing it linear, like time, one arrow. But when you can store it in a volume, you can store much more information. So then he replicated it 80 billion times, and then he transferred from DNA, from A's, T's, and G's back into zeros and ones and uploaded it back into a computer. So he recognized that DNA is also a server. He's like, man, this is incredible. So we have this ability in us to move data and information. Now, because of something called epigenetic memories, we know that 15 to 20 generations before us, that programming code was downloaded into our body. So you're born with this hard-coded information already in your body. Most of it is only, though, this is the sad part,
it's passed down through your cells. This encoding information that he's talking about is passed down through your cells.
15 to 20 generations before us, that programming code was downloaded into our body. So you're born with this hard-coded information already in your body. Most of it is only, though, this is the sad part, is only trauma that came from previous generations. All the slave beatings and whoopings and the separation of loved ones and the buck fighting and all that stuff, it's in your body. That's why when Black people start feeling like I'm depressed, I got PTSD, but they don't know why. I'm feeling, I'm feeling down or ill or angry or whatever. A lot of it is it's the epigenetics. So to overcome this, what scientists realize, you can actually start to re-encode that DNA by doing simple things. Simple. One thing is write down 10 positive affirmations about yourself, and then speak those out loud 3 times a day, out loud, for 21 days, and your DNA begins to change and rewrite itself. You begin to start to believe those cymatic frequencies coming out of your mouth, that your body is actually listening to the information. Like you said before, the body is mostly whoop.
He said the cymatic frequencies. And I want y'all to understand that cymatics is a science. Cymatics is the study of vibrational frequencies and how they manifest in physical form. Look it up, cymatics. The study of vibrational frequency and how they manifest in physical form. And everything communicates in this language, even plants, dirt, soil. Everything communicates with this same science, cymatics. All right, I need y'all to understand that.
So,
y'all enjoying the bill, hit that like button, support the channel. Man.
You begin to start to believe those cymatic frequencies coming out of your mouth, that your body is actually listening to the information. Like you said before, the body is mostly water. The water has memory. The water in your body speaks conscious energy. So when you are releasing that conscious energy into the atmosphere, your body is then absorbing it back into the water, and then the light force energy is rewriting your DNA. And so we can actually rewrite our DNA. We can change the way we think and see and feel about ourselves just by speaking out loud. Like you said, meditation. And I love travel. That's all I do is travel nonstop. You already know that. That's going to enlighten and open up, broaden all your horizons. It's going to make you see things from other perspectives and understand. It's going to raise your consciousness. Traveling. I tell people all the time, leave your zip code. You got to.
No, that's a fact, because you got to think about the making of a slave. If I want to make somebody a slave, I don't want them to see the world.
Right.
You understand me? I need them to only see from my perspective.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because therefore they're going to have my same biases engineered within them. And I can control the radius of where they go.
Yeah.
You may think that, oh, if you walk over here, you might die. Somebody's going to attack you. But if you actually traveled there, there's no way a person can make up that lie that causes you to halt yourself within fear.
Yeah.
Right? And most people, God is fear. You understand me? Everything that they fear creates the radius, the circumference, the diameter of their thinking, their movement, right? Their entire being. And so breaking away from, those connections of fear allows you to be restored into who you really are, to walk around as a child. A child doesn't know fear. The child is programmed into fear. A child is programmed into civilization. You understand me? Coming under jurisdiction and codes.
Hey, man, y'all hit that like. Y'all hit that like button, man. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button.
programmed to
support the channel, man. Cash App tags at the bottom right of the screen.
Civilization.
Yeah.
You understand me? Coming under jurisdiction and code to operate in a manner and behavior that allows them to, be so-calledly free within a world of this social contract that we have. But the reality of it is that for us to be able to develop and to grow into who we are and to be able to transition out of these thought forms that control this world, you understand me? And to break these cabals of power, it has to start with this realization that becomes a field art. You talked about unity. Like Muhammad said, our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. But then when you think about what is an atomic bomb, you understand me? The breaking of those atoms.
Yeah.
You understand me? And when we build, the guys always talk about, we cracking atoms.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
We create new worlds.
Mm-hmm.
But we think about all of that energy coming together because, human being energies are jewels.
Yeah.
You understand me? And if we were able to bring that electricity together, it literally would be an atomic bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And that sort of energy has the ability to create atomic shift on this planet.
Yeah.
You understand me? That can create new paradigm shifts on this planet Earth. So anytime anything is observed through the collective, a shift happens at that moment.
Yeah.
There's no collective observations or world events that don't change the world.
Yeah.
Because once the whole entire world gains a collective perspective on something, it creates a new dimension, a new angle, a new inventions, innovations, realities. Everything starts to happen from that moment. And we've been through many of them in our lifetime already. It's just in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We've been through recessions, paradigm shifts, different new presidents. We've been through 9/11. We've been through so many different things.
Yeah.
Today, during the timing of this filming, there's a terrorist attack that happened. And April happens to be one of the most observant months of white terrorist attacks, right? From Timothy McVeigh, from the Oklahoma bombings to the Columbine, right?
Wow.
And it's a few other ones. April is one of those, it's the fourth month. A lot of things that happen on the fourth. And once we understand that we're living in this world of a four-corner contract, you understand me, that, paperwork rules this world and it lifts us off of being attached to the land itself.
Yeah.
That when we walk around, we don't look down at our feet and say we own the land. We have dominion over the land. We think that we are always on someone else's land. We're always under someone else's control. And that mental observation depletes the soul of being able to have a real connection with the earth itself.
Yeah, it does.
When you look around, there's somebody who has sky rights and land rights.
Yeah.
Not ownership, but rights.
Right.
Right? And once we realize we're living in someone else's plans, as you say. Whether you believe it's the Anunnaki, whether you believe it's the 1%, whether you believe it's these families are controlled, you have to know that we're living in somebody else's time system, and it works very well.
Oh, very well.
Very well.
They mastered this stuff.
Way too well, matter of fact. And we are controlled by invisible forces.
Yeah.
And if you don't think you do, you stop at a stop sign. You stop when there's a street light. You understand me? And you don't cross that line because something may happen to you. An invisible force, no police around, no people, but you still listen.
Yeah.
You understand me? That is, you're talking about some people, it may not be cars from now, and they will still follow that system.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to touch on the ideas of systems. Because institutions is what I focus on, like the reality of we building institutions are only things that can dominate existing systems.
Right.
But what is the energy form of a system to where it actually has real power and control over human form?
Yeah. Well, the way that they've built all these institutionalized systems that we have that are controlling mankind, they're all predicated on fear. You'll find that fear is the biggest thing. For example, you go to school, if you don't get good grades, you're going to get in trouble. You won't pass the next grade. If you act up in school, you might get, stay in line or whatever, you might get spanked with.
And drop them fire emojis in the chat if y'all can hear everything loud and clear, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat tuning in. I want to say peace and blessings, man. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're enjoying the build, hey, hit the notification bell so you get all your latest update and notifications to the live stream. Hey, man, if y'all feeling like y'all want to support the channel, Cash App information is on the screen, man. Make sure y'all share the live stream. Man, shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all extra active. You know, man, appreciate y'all for tapping in this month, bro. Let's go.
Stay in line or whatever. You might get spanked with the ruler or the paddle or whatever. You know, obviously on the street is follow these exact rules or you're going to go to prison. You know, so they have all these systems in place. And these systems that they put in place, when they have these little fear factors built into them, even religion has a lot of fear factors put into it. Absolutely. People fall in line because why? Fear is the body pays attention to fear first. The mind is always, okay, there's fear. I got to stop this fear. I got to do whatever it takes to not allow this, whatever this fear is, to happen. I don't want it to happen to me. So the body goes into fight or flight mode, and then it starts focusing on the fear. Once the body does that, these people who rule, the ruling elite, they know that we got them with the fear. Now we can manipulate them to do whatever we want. So they always do the same thing. They create the problem. Okay, they wait for the reaction, and then they provide the solution to that problem. So they're actually manipulating all sides of it based on fear. The fear is a key thing in all these institutions that has us locked in, because people, when that fear hits them, they don't recognize that fear is not real. False evidence appearing real. That's what fear is, right? The acronym. But for them, it's as real as it can be. But in true reality, fear is a choice.
Yeah, fear comes from ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, once you know something, there's nothing to fear because you have all the data. You know exactly how to move, what not to do, exactly what it is, what's not. You know, and once you come to that realization, it gives you so much power over all.
Yeah.
Right. And so becoming fearless, you understand me, is key.
Yeah.
Our bodies all automatically store systems to tell us fight or flight.
Yeah.
That in moments and situation is giving us a signal that you are in danger.
Yeah.
So this danger needs to teach you to make a decision.
Exactly.
Either this tiger that's coming right now, you understand me, you're going to stand very still and hope that it doesn't attack you, or are you going to run, right? Or are you going to fight?
Yeah.
You understand me? Because they're fright, flight, then fight. You understand me? And I think that that's one, and the fight is the decision that you have.
Yeah.
And the nigga said, understand me like 20 times. Y'all niggas probably be wasted in the chat if we was taking shots after for every time he said, understand me. Y'all niggas would be wasted. Y'all lucky I ain't got the Casamigos on the hand, yeah.
That even if this tiger is so close, I can't run. I can't stand still now, not here. I have to figure out a way where I'd rather go down fight.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the part of human decision making that is never deposited as an idea of this is an option.
Yeah.
That you can always choose to fight.
Yeah.
Every moment in every situation,
right.
Even if the certainty is death.
Yeah.
You understand me? Because at least you would die being alive.
Exactly.
You understand me?
Exactly.
But to freeze or just to run, because there's times where, flight is the most, intelligent option that you have, right? The fighting.
Yeah.
There's something so powerful and majestic about that, because that's the human spirit colliding with whatever force that is in front of it.
Yeah.
When you see two boxers fight, those are spirits going at it.
Right.
And whoever has the most will win.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? Not even sometimes we have the most skill or better technique. Yeah. Sometimes it's all about who got that greater spirit. Yeah. Because the fight is often won before you get into the ring.
That's right.
There's one spirit that's already decided, whether it's deep into their consciousness, subconscious, where they don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
They've already decided that they're delusional.
Yeah.
You understand me? And sometimes you can try to overcome it with confidence, right? What you know about yourself and my training, my skill, your overcome it with your ego. You understand me? Well, I can do this even if I can't do it. Yeah. You understand me?
Yeah.
But then there's mathematics. Mathematics of this person's skill, level, confidence, will, all of this is higher than your frequency.
Yeah.
And when these collide, this one is going to win.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the idea of mathematics, because mathematics really sets us upon understanding reality in a very practical and logical capacity.
Yeah.
There's spiritual intuition and spiritual intelligence, yes, 100%. And I think that wholly on this planet Earth, men and women are disconnected between the feminine energy that exists. Men are completely disconnected nowadays from the masculine energy, but the feminine energy, because we talk about a woman's movement, but there's not a lot of feminine energy involved in the movements. And the feminine energy, Mother Tanetta talked about it. She talked about the 9 planets, right? Mm-hmm. And the feminine. and in the connection with, you know, the astronomy and the feminine energy, and why that 9, you know, circulates that 1. I told you we'll get to the 1 9. We're gonna always find the 1 9. But we talk about that 9 circulating that 1, that consciousness circulating subconsciousness, and 1995, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan opened up the Million Man March speech with the secrets of the number 19. And he talked about the idea that when that 1 is next to the 9, it represents something to be uncovered. You understand me? And then he went on to break down that these monuments that was there representing the 16th and the 3rd president is 19. And he said that this monument up here is 555 feet high. You put a 1 next to that, represents 1555 when black people came over here. And he said that on these shores and these steps, you understand me?
Nigga, black people being here, sorry to bust your little bubble, fam. I know you 19 kids and shit, but nigga, we up to the 33 kids. Nigga, we been in America. Nigga, we didn't get brought shit. But destruction was brought our way.
Trade of black bodies.
We didn't get on one ship except for citizenship.
Representing some of the Masonic secrets of how they first produced this country. You understand me? And he was giving that breakdown in front of course, almost 2 million black men, future president, future billionaires of the planet Earth, everybody. That was a world shifting event. But when I listened to that, I thought about the fact that, you know, the body itself, our bodies, you know, atoms are called Allah, the original man, ATOM. You understand me? Or I say AGTC, Allah, God, the creator. You understand me? But at the end of the day, our bodies are carbon bodies, our melanin bodies. We are electric, you know, frequencies. You understand me? We are the most powerful electric conduits. You understand me? Just based on our physicality. And I think what happens with society is, number one, jealousy.
There was a bar, wasn't it, Wolf? Yeah, that was a bar. That's a bar. I ain't gonna lie, that's a barski. That's a barski.
But 2 is the lack of appreciation of our parts we're supposed to play on this planet. You understand me? That, yeah, we gonna always be dark melanated, beautiful, shiny, sheen beings. You understand me? But when you allow things like the Hermetic prophecies that talked about, you know, when human beings developed so-called and developed intelligence, those were white human beings, and that being spread across the ecosystem of the planet Earth, creating a white supremacy. And then validated people like, oh man, we was charting star systems and speaking in geometry and using mathematical language. You understand me? Before we ever seen a light-skinned person on this planet Earth. But you can't, if you want to do anything for race relations, you cannot forget about the story of time. And I ain't gonna ever call it history. History is just the lies. The story of time is about what happened on this planet, the true history. The true history. And if you ever,
and that's really the real understanding. Once you start understanding your true history, you start understanding your true capabilities based off of what your ancestors went endeavors was. So I'm gonna end the live stream with this, man. Hopefully everybody enjoy this. Hey man, hopefully y'all enjoy this, man. Hopefully we get some people in the chat to support the channel, man. If y'all enjoy this, support the channel, man. Support the channel. Hey, join Big Aboriginal Clubhouse, man. We're gonna talk this Aboriginal American shit on Clubhouse. Make sure y'all go tap in. Make sure y'all go tap in. Make sure y'all go tap in. Let me put the Clubhouse shit in the link. Let me put the Clubhouse link. My Clubhouse link in there. So if I go live, y'all can follow me. Y'all be able to see, you know what I mean, that we live and shit. So let me put my Clubhouse link in the chat right now. Let me put my Clubhouse link in the chat. All right, let's see what we got. I don't even see that motherfucker in here. Shit, I'll get in a minute. Goddamn. I'll put that motherfucker in a second. Hold on. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, I do want to get back to some battle rap shit too, man. I've been silent. I am looking for a new Vic theme. I mean, a new little Vic though. Get their ass the fuck out of here. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Copper Grizzly shit, Big Aboriginal Power on Clubhouse. Link is in the chat. Let me pin that in the chat so y'all can go hit that link. Make sure y'all go follow me on Clubhouse. Make sure y'all go follow me on Clubhouse, man. It's definitely mandatory for you guys to follow me. You feel what I'm saying? That's on everything. All right, with that being said, man, make sure y'all be safe, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, man. Shout out to all the American Aborigines. Make sure y'all stay safe. Be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother Big Aboriginal Power, and we out. Peace.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The Hellyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair right up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with Dylan, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We out of here, man. Hey, Brown Wolf, man, you know that's without a doubt, my brother. You know I'm watching that event today. You know what I'm saying? This Battle Rap Saturdays for me, man. That's all I watch on Saturdays, man. I'm ready to see my nigga Swamp take his 100K from JC, man. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the fucking vibes, man. Yeah, make sure y'all be safe, man. We out of here. Peace.